If you're running a growing Forex brokerage, you've probably felt this. It's a weird paradox, right? The better your marketing gets, the bigger your compliance problem seems to become. Today, we're going to dig into exactly why that happens and, more importantly, how you can actually fix it.
Just let that sink in for a second. You launch a campaign, it's a huge success, leads are just flooding in, and then boom. Suddenly you look at your P&L and you realize your biggest line item isn't your media spend anymore. Nope, it's the time, the resources, the sheer friction coming from your own compliance team.
And it really boils down to this simple two-step process. First, your killer ads get you a ton of visibility. That's the goal. But step 2 is the kicker. More visibility means you're on everyone's radar, including the regulators. And let me be super clear here. This isn't about doing anything wrong. It's just that scale changes the entire game.
Which leads us to the million-dollar question every single brokerage has to answer for itself. How do you find that sweet spot? How do you balance that aggressive, gotta-get-results advertising with the very real risk that comes with all that regulatory attention? It's a heck of a tightrope to walk.
Okay, so let's start by really unpacking this whole paradox thing. And I'm going to say it again because it's so important. This isn't about illegal activity. It's all about understanding how your own success, the very thing you're working for, naturally invites a much, much closer look from the people in charge.
I mean, let's just be real about Forex advertising for a minute. It is a high-pressure world. You're bidding on incredibly expensive keywords, you have to make bold claims to stand out, and the language you use is designed to get someone to act right now. And that whole approach just inherently clashes with the cautious, balanced, risk-averse language that compliance needs you to use.
And here it is, the core conflict right in the heart of your business. Your acquisition team, they live and die by one number, cost per lead. They need volume, they need efficiency, and they need it yesterday. But your compliance team, they're measured by a totally different metric, minimizing risk exposure. These two goals, they're not just different, they're fundamentally pulling in opposite directions.
So this brings us to a really crucial distinction, advertising versus PR, but not just how we see them. The real question is, how do regulators see your strategy? How do they view each of these channels? Because believe me, that distinction matters a whole lot. Okay, let's break this down. Advertising is all about the transaction. It's designed to be intrusive, to get in front of you and make you click, sign up, or deposit immediately. Public relations, on the other hand, is completely different. It's informational. It's meant to be discovered, to provide context, and to slowly build a story about your company over time.
And for a regulator, this difference is everything. They look at your ads and they see one thing, client solicitation. To them, it's a direct, active attempt to attract clients. But when they see your PR, they categorize it as corporate communication. That's just the company describing itself. The perceived intent is totally different, and that changes how they scrutinize you. Think about what's in a standard press release. It's all about company milestones, right? We got a new license, we hired a new CEO, we upgraded our platform. The entire tone is informational. It's not trying to convert you. And that builds a very, very different narrative than an ad that's screaming about low spreads and instant withdrawals.
So let's talk about the real cost of all this aggressive advertising. And it's not what you're paying Google or Facebook. No, the hidden cost, the one that really hurts, is that internal compliance friction that can literally grind your growth to a halt.
We should probably give this a name. Let's call it compliance escalation. It's this simple principle. The more you turn up the dial on your advertising, the more you amplify the demands on your compliance team. More ads, more countries, more aggressive messaging. It all just means more reviews, more headaches, and way more friction.
And it always starts small, doesn't it? A new campaign gets held up for a couple of days while legal takes a look. It's annoying, for sure, but you figure, hey, we can manage this.
But then it gets a little more serious. An ad account gets suspended. Your best performing ads get shut down because they're making what the platform calls restricted financial claims. Now it's not just annoying. Now it's actually starting to hurt your numbers.
And this is when the execs start asking questions. Because the engine that drives the whole business, your lead flow, suddenly starts to sputter and stall. The numbers are down, and everyone wants to know why.
Finally, you hit the last stage, and it's a tough one. Compliance isn't a support function anymore. It has officially become the single biggest bottleneck, preventing your marketing team from doing its job. Your growth has just slammed into a wall.
Okay, so you're facing this massive challenge. What do you do? How do you even structure your compliance team? Is it better to keep it all in-house, or should you be looking at external advisors? Let's dig into that big strategic choice. Look,
An in-house team can be amazing if the conditions are perfect. You need marketing and legal to be in total alignment. You need a compliance team that actually gets how customer acquisition funnels work. And you need leadership that genuinely prioritizes long-term brand safety over just hitting this quarter's numbers.
Because the biggest danger with an in-house team is what you see right here, the silo problem. It's like they're speaking two different languages. Marketing is all about conversions, leads, and CPA. Compliance is talking about regulation, risk, and disclosures. If they can't find a way to translate for each other, all you get is friction and gridlock.
And this is exactly where external advisors can be absolute game changers. They bring in a fresh perspective, especially if you're going into new markets, launching a super aggressive campaign, or doing a major rebrand. They've seen these patterns play out at dozens of other brokers, so they know exactly where all the landmines are buried.
So how do we pull this all together? How do you actually achieve that strategic balance? In this last section, let's lay out a blueprint for sustainable growth that doesn't force you to sacrifice compliance.
And here is maybe the most important takeaway of this whole thing. The solution is not choosing between ads and PR. If you're looking at them as two separate things, or even worse, as competing functions, you're making a fundamental strategic error.
The real answer, the elegant solution, is an integrated formula. You absolutely need paid media to drive acquisition. You need structured PR to build your credibility in your corporate story. And this is the critical part, you need compliance to be embedded in the strategy from day one, not as a gatekeeper, but as a true strategic partner. So I'll just leave you with this one question to think about for your own business. Is your marketing ambition scaling faster than your compliance architecture? Because right there, in that gap, lies your biggest risk, but it's also your greatest opportunity for real, sustainable growth.